Hey family, I'm really glad that you're here. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through three concepts that I'm showing six, but really three concepts that I am really excited about. These are things that have helped me to make over $300,000 online, has helped me access so much more freedom, move through and be able to leverage so much of my emotional turmoil from the past. These things have been really helpful as well for my clients, for them being able to grow businesses in ways that feel aligned for them to be able to own more of who they are, accept more of who they are, and also be able to move through their own conditioning emotions and be able to use those things in ways to support them, support their work, support their mission, and support the people that they serve. And so I'm really excited for you to dive deeper into this. And I encourage you to really watch the whole video because you're going to get a whole lot from it. And you and the people you serve and the world will be better for it. All right? What's up? I'm really grateful that you are here. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about some of these concepts that I'm super excited about because these are concepts that are really helpful for creating more freedom for you and are really just helpful for you being able to serve more people and bring more profits into your business. And I call it the liberated creator or the leveraged way because a lot of this is around using things that instead of trying to reinvent things, just being in flow, allowing your genius, allowing the way that God wants to just give you what you want, really just being able to be in line with that. Now, with that being said, what I do want to highlight is that everything that seems like it's in the way is actually the way. But it's really about our awareness of that and how we are able to use those things or leverage those things that seem like they're in the way. So I'm going to expand on that a little bit. And I really am going to focus on three main frameworks. So one of them is the Unique Genius Framework, which I've talked about a decent amount, so you may have seen this. And then the Core Offer Model and Emotional Alchemy. So I like shapes, and together they make a nice little triangle, right? And the reason why I like to put a triangle is just to communicate that this isn't a linear thing. Like they all feed into each other. They're all feeding each other. They're all in ways mirrors for the deepening, the expansion of each other, which is really, really beautiful, right? So to start, I really want to highlight first the unique genius because that is, I feel like if you are an entrepreneur, a what I like to call a rebel visionary or a revolutionary leader, right? You are someone that has been given the mission. The mission has been put on your heart, on your soul to free yourself and free others in specific ways, right? Really to help others transform in specific ways. And so with that, right, it's really beautiful to be able to see that like, whoa, these challenges you may have experienced or these things that, you know, were maybe felt like they held you back in the past that you had to learn to overcome, they were actually your path, right? They were your path to igniting the fire. They were your path to giving you the skills to be able to serve your people, build your communities, build your movements, etc. Right? And so this is the part of the concept, everything that seems like it's in the way is actually the way, right? And so we'll be able to expand on that a little bit more. But just looking briefly at the unique genius framework, and I'm going to make myself smaller so we can make this a bit bigger, right? So this is something that we combine with human design, right? And the idea is when we just look at together, I call it the unique genius, right? So if there's human design, there's the specific unique genius framework, right? And the specific unique genius framework that we have here allows you to see, right? What are uh, what are your areas of competence, right? What are your skills that you've been drawn to, the knowledge you've had, and the ways that you've transformed as a person, right? Perhaps this is going from a more avoidant attachment to a more secure attachment and building a really loving relationship and just feeling equipped at that, right? Now we're able to also see when you look at all your experiences, we're able to see how those dots connect. And what I really love, there was Virgil Blow, he's a mentor of mine, and he was giving a speech, and something that always sticks with me is he was like, when you look at he was calling it, I think, his design language, and he was like, when you look back, you see that there's a thread, right, of the things you like, the things you created, etc. This is a similar idea that there's a thread, right? There's a thread between the things you're drawn to. There's a thread between the challenges you face or the things you've overcome or the ways that you've transformed, right? So when we're able to see that thread, we're not only able to see more of your genius, we're also able to see more of who you likely are feeling called to serve, who might be energizing, because they're likely a former version of yourself, right? And we're also then able to see, ooh, what might be the basic human need that I want to lead with in my marketing, in my messaging, right? And putting that together allows us to get more of an understanding of of your unique genius, right? Now, what we do as well is we pair this with your human design, right? Particularly, I mean, there's so much to the human design that we can leverage, right? But just on a introductory level, right, we're able to look at your incarnation cross, right? And we're able to see, okay, the conscious sun that's making up 70% of your energy is allowing you to connect more with your your essence, the essence of your brand. The incarnation cross as a whole, it's connecting you more to your why, the why of your mission, right? We're able to see what helps you show up more authentically in your conscious earth. We're able to see in your unconscious sun what may have been a block, but is triggering even more of your expansion into your purpose. We're able to see in your unconscious earth what's connecting you even more to God, source, right? And so these things are really helpful for you because it gives you more permission in many ways to embody these things that you might already be feeling gifted at. It gives you more permission to own them. But in addition to that, you're able to see, oh, the people that I'm serving, these are some of the main ways that I'm serving my people, right? Now, there's much more to the human design that we can look at. Um, so many of the different planets and their respective gates are helpful. Being able to see where we have the most definition can allow us to understand our marketing angle, right? And so these are things that when you work with me, that we're able to look at and see to refine and get even more clarity on the unique genius. Now, this is the foundation, and this is all great. This is all dandy, but then we want to know, okay, how are we actually using this to help someone, right? And this is where we're able to plug this genius into the core offer model. Now, the some of the big distinctions between the core offer model and the way a lot of other people might be modeling their business, right, is we're not just coming just from the intellect of like, oh, what might my niche be? What might my offers be? Blah, blah. No, we're really saying, okay, how did the stars align for you to serve, right? And where is the North Star? Where are you going? Where are you taking people, right? What is the basic human needs you're leading with? Health, wealth, relationships. Relationships being relationship to yourself, of course, as well as relationships to others, but also just relationships to things, whether it's business, whether it's relationship to parenting, etc. Right? Now, the beautiful thing about the core offer model, the way that I like to see it is we're really thinking about how can we build trust with our community, and also how are we leading a movement, right? How are we leading a movement? How are we not just having this, um, this business that isn't really standing for something, right? So we are able to stand for something. And the big idea here with the core offer model is how can we turn buyers into clients, right? By building trust with people, by leveraging things like our tools, our information, and then being able to meet people where they're at, but also build trust in a way that doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, well, I have this free school group, or I'm having to do all these freebies. No, there's ways that we can build trust with buyers in a lower risk way, and then allow them to ascend through the different parts of your ecosystem, right? Some people might jump straight to the highest level, right? But there's ways to have people go through the different parts of your ecosystem based on where they're at. And so you don't necessarily need to do sales calls, right? You're able to have people trust you, see how you can help them, and continue to ascend with you. Now, something else that's really beautiful about the core offer model as well is because you're clear on your North Star, you're able to see ways that you can ascend people. You're able to see ways that you can create recurring revenue so that you're able to create these win-win situations where your clients are able to continue working with you if that aligns, and they're able to deepen their work with you, get even more of a transformation, which is beautiful because so much of the current model for online businesses, new client, new client, new client, new client, and we're not as much thinking about how can we make it so that our product is really fucking good and that we can also continue to ascend people, continue to work with people, continue to deepen the relationship with people, right? And I think it's a beautiful thing for you as well is you're able to streamline things so that you don't feel like, hey, I'm running 10 different businesses, right? So one thing that often will feel like a challenge for people is you might feel like I have so many different interests. Either I'm boxing myself in or I'm feeling like I'm running 10 different businesses. No, in actuality, all of those things come together as a part of your genius. And once you're clear on the genius, where you're leading people to, as well as what is the basic community that you're leading with, all of these things that might seem like chaos, it might seem like so much, are actually the path to you creating your revolution, creating your movement, meeting people where they're at, allowing people to build trust, allowing people to give you energy, by becoming buyers and growing with you in your business. Okay, so that is part of how that works. And the thing that might have seemed in the way is it might have seemed like things were all over the place, things were chaotic. That was the only way to really show your soul, show your truth. And in actuality, that is the way that you show even more of your genius. Okay. The last thing that we will share is uh, on the topic of emotional alchemy. And you might not know it, but you likely have already been doing this emotional alchemy when we discuss how in the unique genius framework there's these things that may have been challenges in the past that you transformed, or they made you curious about creating a solution, and now you're able to help people in that way, right? Similarly, when we look at human design, these things on the unconscious on the left side, these are often things that maybe we've had wounding around or blocks around. But of course, as we process those things, alchemize those things, they then can actually be of service to our purpose, to the ways that we help people, to the ways that we create more freedom for ourselves, right? And similarly, that is the basic concept of emotional alchemy, right? And so a lot of the way that emotions are looked at in the healing space, in the personal development space, and often they're looked at as these things to get over, get over the mindset block, or get over the trigger, or basically creating ways of reframing things or ways of getting over things, which is important. It's kind of a foundational way to work with the emotions. But something beautiful happens when you actually see, ooh, this emotion is actually a gateway, right? This emotion is a gateway to my power, to accessing more of my power, to accessing more of my wisdom, to accessing more of my creativity, right? And when you're able to work with the emotion in that way, right, then you're able to see how advantageous it is for what you are creating. Now, naturally, as you're going through creating the business, right? As you're going into expanding and being bolder about your movement, about the genius that you do have, that is naturally going to be a mirror. It's going to be a relationship that is going to trigger different things. Now, what a lot of people do is they will treat that, as I previously alluded to, they will treat that as like, oh my gosh, I want to do this thing, but I can't because I feel this resistance. Or I want to do this thing, but you know, my body isn't cooperating. But that's actually not true, right? That is that is the medicine. There's more. Your body is actually mirroring to you. Okay, this is where we want to give some attention and love to, and feel and be with, because this is actually going to free you up, and actually it's actually going to create energy and creativity, and downloads that we can then pour into where you already are saying that you want to go, right? So specifically I use somatic inquiry, somatic experiencing, hypnotherapy as well, but you know, more what I'm speaking to specifically here is the emotional work, which would mostly be somatic inquiry and somatic experiencing, right? But when we're able to grasp that actually we can go into this emotion and we can open to it and open to what it wants to show us and open to what it wants to create, um, there's so much beauty here, right? Especially because when we think about a lot of people that are in, the healing space, a lot of times people might think that they can only create from the light, right? But if you look at Adele, right, some of her best music is about like heartbreak, right? And so when we're able to use some of these emotions, especially anger is a huge catalyst. When we're able to use these emotions and actually create from these emotions and actually be with these emotions and process them and see what they want, see how they want to deepen our genius, see how they want to expand our creations, our offers, the ways that we serve people. There is so much beauty that comes from that, right? And so these are some of the main frameworks, right, that I am really excited about, because the way that these frameworks work, they allow you to see that the challenges are actually a part of the path. They actually are in service to you when we are able to use them in that way, when we're able to leverage them in that way. Okay? Now, I like that this actually creates like a scale for for the parts of the genius. That wasn't intentional, but that was, I guess, intentional. That's really beautiful. Now, what I feel is, what we aren't going to cover here is the infrastructure that makes a lot of more of the actual offers and things of that nature, and building the trust, the infrastructure that makes a lot of that possible, right? But these are the foundational things that we can then continue to build infrastructure on top of, which is really, really, really beautiful. So I'm really grateful that you are here. If you find resonance with this, right, there will be a button where you can DM me on Instagram to chat more about getting more of my guidance, about going deeper in any of these ways. And really specifically, I'm talking to you. If you see yourself as a revolutionary leader, if you know you're here to lead a movement, if you know you're here to be able to serve in a way that gives you energy, gives you more capacity, and doesn't feel like you are just, you know, running into walls and burning yourselves out, but actually is more aligned with the way that you're here to work, right? Because the codes already exist. Ooh, I love that word codes. That's another thing that I'll share, is that this process is all about revealing the codes that you already have, right? There's codes on your genius. The emotions actually give you codes. They give you access to more of your codes, right? And when you have the this and you're able to see with the core offer model, you're able to see, ooh, what are the small codes that go towards creating this, and how can we allow these small codes to be communicated in a way that builds trust, ascends people, etc. So codes. Codes is a beautiful word. So there'll be a link where you can DM me on Instagram if you would like to chat more about getting more of my guidance, and yeah, being able to help you access more freedom, help your business grow. And I'm really excited to be able to chat with you and keep this conversation going. All right, stay blessed.